Try not to lose your composure as we talk about the busts and injuries from week 10 that's going to impact your fantasy rosters going forward. We're going to prevent you from jumping off that ledge, jumping off the building right here today. But before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going deeper than anybody else when it comes to coverage on the waiver wire. We're finding those diamonds in the rough. We're deep diving the trending prospects. At the end of the week, we're helping you set those lineups. It's all here. It's free. All you got to do is click that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out. But our first player that we're looking at today, Jaxson Dart, went out with an injury today, concussed. Now we're looking at Russell Wilson. So now you got to ravage at the waiver wire again. Try to find your next man up. Odds are you're not going to be chasing Russ here if Jaxson is out in week 11 against the Packers, because I don't like that matchup against the Packers for Russ. Russ was very sketchy to start the season. I mean, he got pulled for Dart anyways, and you're looking at him and you're just hoping he goes YOLO and cashes on a few deep balls. With Jaxson Dart, he will be back eventually. It's a concussion. We know most guys come back. Almost all of them, not all of them, but almost all of them. So he will be back sooner than later. So we're not too worried how he plays the game. We're probably going to see some of these come up here and there throughout his career, and it just is what it is. But when we're watching Russell Wilson out there, we're worried about that. But we're going to be looking at other quarterbacks off the waiver wire going into week 11 and maybe week 12. Garrett Wilson, the knee is starting to become an issue. Left, and he was held catchless on 3 targets. We're watching this. We needed him to fire in our lineups, but it was also a matchup we weren't really into. We weren't really into this Browns game. We weren't into that matchup. We knew it was going to be a piss-poor game script going in. But long-term for the season, this is an asset that was drafted depending on your league and format, first 2 to 3 rounds of your draft here, and now you're looking at him and you're seeing a wide receiver here to start the season. Very strong in target share. Very strong. Not being able to stay on the field in an offense that can barely throw it for more than 50 yards. This is very concerning. Dalton Kincaid. He's out, but it is the tight end position. It's a volatile position. You got Tampa Bay coming up. Maybe you got Cade Otton on the waiver wire. Maybe you got Colson Loveland you can pull some strings on. Maybe you got another upside tight end look at. Maybe Dalton Schultz. It's the tight end position. You're looking for volume. You're looking for targets. Consistency's not going to be there on the waiver wire. All the studs are consistent. There's like 5 or so tight ends that are consistent for fantasy football. Kincaid was getting there. A good solid season. We're watching the injury reports because he could be back sooner than later. I'm kind of talking like he's out for the year. I'm kind of acting like he's dead or something. He's not. But the injury is going to make you scrape the waiver wire this week if you had to lock on to Kincaid. And the waiver wire for the tight end position makes you feel like he's dead because there's nothing really there. You're pretty much looking at Dalton Schultz or Cade Otton. James Cook busted this week, 10.7. At least it's to the fairway, but it's against the Dolphins. Everybody blows up against the Dolphins. And I had James Cook as an easy play this week, but he is every week. And like I've been saying, like, we'll take these L's here and there. Wasn't that bad of an L, but you're starting to see this as a trend with the Dolphins here. Like, they're starting to get scrappy in some of these game scripts. They're starting to push it on the other side. We saw that against Atlanta, and that's something to think of when you're going up against some of these matchups with the Dolphins, because they might just show up. They might just show up and play football. There's some of these games where they don't, and they allow the running back just to go off on them. They said, James Cook, we ain't allowing that today. We've allowed it earlier, and we've allowed it in other seasons. Not today. Not today, James Cook. I'm not worried. It's James Cook. He's in a good offense that pushes the pace. Down games are here and there. Now, J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy not pushing it to his stud wide receivers. Both of them got a lot of targets. Both of them didn't get really anything in fantasy. Together, they're all right. Together, like if you merge their production together in this game against Baltimore, a game script that was rather juicy. You're looking at that. McCarthy had an off game. Sailed some balls. He was off. You got Chicago coming up. Green Bay on the road. Can we get it together here? We can be together, though. We saw that. 16 points last week against Detroit for Justin Jefferson. Am I concerned? A tad if this starts becoming a trait of what we're seeing every week. Like if this starts being consistent where we're starting to miss on our stud wide receivers here. It's off and on every week. I don't care. If that happens, that's going to be a concern and could be even a concern going into next year. But I'm not that worried. It's Justin Jefferson. He's getting hyper-focused on targets. Jordan Addison has a good rapport. These games happen, especially with a young quarterback. But it is very sad to see in the box score from a fantasy football perspective. Quinshon Judkins got 22 carries and just 10.5 PPR fantasy points. That's how bad Dillon Gabriel and the Browns are. That's how bad they are. Dillon Gabriel missed a guy in the flat, overthrew him like 10 yards over his head. Just a little quick dart to the flat. Just missed it by a country mile. Threw a ball in the dirt on a slant or whatever, a crosser. He made some big misses. The touchdown to Judy, like if it was a punt, you can calculate the hang time. Had to contort his whole body to get it there. And they're going with Gabriel again. They're going with Gabriel again as if they won the game. As if they won it. He's a meme quarterback. And this game script for the Browns are always going to be jacked up. And Judkins, you don't know what you're going to get. He has the potential to get a lot of carries. We forecast him to get a lot of carries in this matchup. It didn't matter. Like, teams can just key on him now. They're not going to throw it more than 10 yards on most pass attempts. And it is what it is. Rachaad White is very inefficient. He's getting worse by the year. Last year was very inefficient. His numbers are getting worse. Sure, 10.4 PPR fantasy points. You'll take that considering you probably threw him in at flex. He's getting work in the pass game. That's fine, but he's very efficient up the gut. And we're seeing Sean Tucker take some of that work, get some of that opportunity, and starting to do a little bit more with it. That could be an impact going forward when you're looking at Rachaad White. And if the passing game ain't rolling his way, you ain't getting much out of him. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a very volatile wide receiver. We got 14.3 PPR fantasy points, 3 balls caught for 33 yards and a touchdown. The quarterback play is what we're worried about. Brissett, he's fine at pushing the game script. Kyler Murray was a worry. So what is this team doing at quarterback? That's the question for the rest of the year. He is fine this week, fantasy-wise. The quarterback position, getting the ball to him, getting him his opportunities. Also, 12 targets in this game. 3 balls caught, 33 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr., the quarterback spot, starting to materialize as a worry going forward, but I'm not worried about it. We got the targets at least. Kenneth Walker. I bet you we're going to hear talks on social media of big content creators cutting him. That's happening. If not, it should have already been about that. But he's so talented in an offense that gives him enough carries where he can pop off on any given Sunday. It just hasn't hit since week 4. And he started off very strong in the first 4 games. And then it just unraveled. Like he could bounce back. Somebody needs to put him back to waivers so he can bounce back. That's what needs to happen. There's going to be a lot of discussions about what to do with Kenneth Walker, and you got to do you. Like, if I see him on waivers, I'm picking him up, though. Like, I'm picking him up. Bam. Like, he's at least in the lottery ticket stash category right now with, like, Blake Corum, Tyler Algier, with those guys. Because if Charbonnet goes down, we're picking up Kenneth Walker. If Kenneth Walker goes down, everybody wants Charbonnet. That's how this backfield has always been. Corey Croskey-Merritt's dead. He's dead to me now. It was a nice story going into the season, but I told you there was going to be a lot of backs like this that are going to be getting their moment. He had his moment, had a couple good games, Not great games. Had that 27-pointer against the Chargers. He had his moment. They're not using him as much. He's not explosive. He hasn't been efficient. They're dead at quarterback. His time has come. They're probably going to bring in another back next year. And we're looking at this as a draft class with a bunch of backs like this with a lot of upside. And some of them are getting anointed like your Kyle Money guy. But Jacory Croskey-Merritt ain't getting it done. Courtland Sutton on Thursday busted on us. He's had a solid season, though. Not great. Not a lot of upside to it, but he's getting you to the fairway. Of course, he's going to hang one here and there. We got the Chiefs coming up. That's a matchup that might get ridiculous. It's all about catching the deep ball with him, and if we can connect. Bo Nix hasn't been great on that this year. That's why we're not getting much 20-plus pointers out of him. We got like 1 or 2, and we got a few games, 15-plus. He's steady, though. Like, if you're looking for 10 to 15, Courtland Sutton's your man. If you're looking for 20-plus, few and far between this year. You're getting a few bust weeks. You got 2 of them, 3 of them with less than 10 PPR fantasy points. So you're kind of fine with that. But also, like, the air yards are there. The deep targets are there. I'm not too worried about that. I figured, considering what we're seeing out of Bo Nix, you're going to get this from time to time. Try not to panic as we roll into week 11. Some of these players are going to bust. We're going to have some new players bust next week. That's just how the game is played, plus some more injuries. It's just how it is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.